Book of Heaven, Volume 15. 6th to the 15th of June 1923. Page 65 to 71. June 6, 1923. The sign that the soul is all of God is that she has a taste for nothing but Him. I was concerned about the reason why my Jesus was not coming, and I said to myself, who knows what evil there is in my interior, that Jesus hides Himself so as not to be displeased. And He, moving in my interior, told me, my daughter, the sign that there is nothing evil and that the interior of the soul is completely filled with God, is that nothing is left to her which is not all mine, and that in everything that may happen inside and outside of her, she no longer has a taste for anything. Her taste is only for me and of me. And not only with profane or indifferent things, but also with holy things, pious people, services, music, etc. Everything is cold, indifferent to her, and like something that does not belong to her. And the reason is natural: if the soul is completely filled with me, she is also filled with my tastes. My taste is hers, and other tastes find no place in which to put themselves. Therefore, as beautiful as they may be, they hold no attraction for the soul. Rather, they are as though dead for her. On the other hand, the soul who is not completely mine is empty, and as things surround her, she feels as many tastes within herself, if those are things which she likes. If, on the other hand, they are things which she does not like, she feels disgust. So, she is in a continuous alternation of tastes and disgusts. And since any taste which did not come from me is not lasting, many times tastes turn into disgusts, and this is why many variations of character can be noticed. Now too sad, now too cheerful, now all irascible, another time all affable. It is the void of me which she has in her soul that gives her so many variations of character, in nothing similar to mine, for I am always the same and I never change. Now, do you have any taste for what exists down here? What do you fear? That there may be some evil in you, and because of it, displeased, I hide myself. Wherever I am, there cannot be evils. And I, my love, I don't feel like getting a taste for anything, as good as it might be. And besides, you know it better than I do. How can I get a taste for other things if the pain of your privation absorbs me, embitters me down to the marrow of my bones, makes me forget about everything, and the only thing which is present to me, and driven into in my heart, is the nail that I am without you. And Jesus, and this tells you that you are mine and that you are filled with me, because every taste has this power. If it is my taste, it transforms the creature into me. If it is a natural taste, it sweeps her into human things. If it is a taste for passions, it casts her into the current of evil. It may seem that a taste is something trivial, yet it is not so. It is the first act of either good or evil. And take a look at how it is so. Why did Adam sin? Because he removed his gaze from the divine attraction, and as Eve presented to him the fruit to let him eat of it, he looked at the fruit, and his sight took pleasure in looking at it, his hearing took delight in hearing the words of Eve, that if he ate the fruit he would become like God, and his palate took pleasure in eating it. So, taste was the first act of his ruin. On the other hand, had he felt displeasure in looking at it, tedium and bother in hearing the words of Eve, disgust in eating it, Adam would not have sinned. On the contrary, he would have done the first heroic act of his life, by resisting and correcting Eve for having done that, and he would have remained with the everlasting crown of faithfulness toward the one to whom he owed so much, and who had all the rights for his subjection. Oh! How careful must one be with the different tastes which arise in the soul. If they are purely divine tastes, one must give them life, but if they are human tastes, or of passions, one must give them death. Otherwise there is the risk of falling into the current of evil. June 10, 1923. The office of victim, and what it means to be deposed from it. In order to live in the divine will, the door through which to enter is the humanity of Jesus. I was lamenting to my sweet Jesus about his privations, and I thought to myself, who knows what is the reason why he is not coming? And, if it is true, as sometimes he made me understand, that he does not come because of the chastisements, since, given the state of victim in which he keeps me, if he comes, having to communicate pains to me because of the office I occupy, He feels his arms being broken, and since justice wants to punish as the creature forces it to do so, this is why he does not come. So, if this is the case, then he should remove me from the state of victim. As long as he comes, I care little about everything else. What I care about is Jesus, my life, my all. Everything else is nothing for me. Now, while I was thinking of this and other things, my sweet Jesus, moving in my interior and surrounding my neck with his arm, told me, "My daughter, what are you saying? Deposing you from your office? You don't know what it means to lose dominion, to lose the right to command, to no longer be able to dispose of anything. In fact, when someone is in office, he can always dispose. If he is a judge, he can judge. He has the right to issue a condemnation and also to absolve. It may be that for days or weeks he does not exercise his office because the occasions are lacking, but in spite of this he receives his pay, maintains his rights, and as guilty or righteous people present themselves, he is at his post of judge, and can defend and condemn. But if he is deposed, he loses all his rights and is reduced to inability, and so with all other offices. Therefore, content yourself with being without me sometimes, rather than wanting to be deposed from your office. Otherwise you will also lose the right of having the deserved scourges be held back in part. And if it seems to you that because of the lack of pains of a few days, you do nothing, to remain in office is always something, and what you do not do one day, as I come to you and find you in office, you can do on another day. But this is not all, it is the least part. The most essential is that in order to live in my will, the door through which to enter, the first link of connection, is my humanity. My humanity was indeed the first and true victim which, because of the office given to me by my celestial Father, lived as sacrificed and completely crucified in the divine will, and by virtue of the power of my eternal volition, it was able to multiply my life for all and for each one. And just as by the power of one single fiat I multiplied so many created things, giving to each creature the right to make them her own, in the same way, the power of my will multiplied one single life, so that each one might have me for himself alone as help, as defense, as refuge, however he wanted me. This is all the greatness, the good, the all, the infinite distance between living in my will and living in a different way, even good and holy. The multiplication of one act into as many acts as one wants, enough for as many as want to make use of them. Now, if I deposed you from your office, not only would you not occupy my office on earth, since you would not be in my humanity, which, even though it did much, impetrating so much good for man, yet did not take the rights, the honor, the decorum away from my justice when it would require to punish man justly. Rather, I would resign myself. But, in lacking the link of connection, you would not be able to live in my will, you would lose dominion, your acts would become simple intentions, and when you say, "My Jesus, in your will, I love you, I bless you, I thank you for all, I feel sorrow for each offense," etc., your acts would not hover over each human act, to become act of each human act, love for each love that creatures should give me. You would not follow all my acts which are present in my will, you would remain behind, they would be pious intentions at most, which can do some good, but not acts for all, which may give life and contain the power of our creative will. And yet, how many times you tell me, since you have called me into your will, do not leave me behind. Oh, Jesus, let it be so that, together with you, I may follow the acts of creation, to requite you for the love of all created things, as well as those of redemption and of sanctification, so that wherever your acts and your love are present, there may be the requital of mine. And now you want me to leave you behind? I remained confused and did not know what to answer. Good Jesus disposes as he best pleases, and everything for his glory. June 15, 1923. In what does perfect charity consist? Continuing in my usual state, I was praying that my always lovable Jesus would deign to come to visit my poor soul, and he, all goodness, came, and made himself seen as he kept touching me up all over with his holy hand, and in touching me, he would leave a light as mark at each point where he touched me. After this, Jesus disappeared, and my first confessor came, who is now deceased, and he told me, I too want to touch you at those points where our Lord touched you. Almost not wanting, but as though lacking the strength to oppose, I let him do it. But as he was doing it, that light which Jesus had left in touching me, was communicated to him, and he remained as though invested with so much light for as many touches as he gave me, always at the same points where Jesus had touched me. I remained surprised, and the confessor told me, "The Lord has sent me to give me the recompense of the merit I acquired when I would come to you to do you charity, and would act upon you. Now this has turned for me into light of eternal glory." Then, afterwards, my second confessor came, who is also deceased, and he told me, "Tell me what Jesus said to you. I want to hear it, so that the light of the divine truths may unite to the many lights of the truths which the Lord spoke to you, and with which, in hearing them from you when I was alive, I remained as though impregnated. Now the Lord has sent me to confirm for me the recompense of the merit I acquired by wanting to hear those truths. If you knew what it means to hear the divine truths, what charm of light they contain, such that the sun would remain eclipsed, and the good they bring to the one who speaks them and to the one who listens to them, you would compete, you, in speaking them, and the one who feels the duty to do so, in listening to them. Therefore, hurry, tell me, what did he say to you?" And I, remembering that Jesus had told me what charity means, said that to him. My words turned into light and invested him. Then, all content, he disappeared from me. Now I will say what Jesus had told me about charity. My daughter, with its power, true charity can convert all things into love. Look at fire, all varieties of wood and any other thing, it converts all into fire, and if it did not have the power to convert everything into fire, it could not be given the name of true fire. The same for the soul, if she does not convert all things into love, both supernatural and natural things, joys and bitternesses, and everything that surrounds her, she cannot be said to possess true charity. Now, as he was saying this, he let many flames come out of his most holy heart, which filled heaven and earth, and then, uniting together, formed one single flame. And he added, "Continuous flames of love come from my heart, and to some they bring love, to some pain, to some light, to others strength, etc. And because they come from the center of the furnace of my love, even though they do different offices, since one is the purpose, to send love to the creature, they are all flames which, uniting together, form one single flame. The same for the creature. Even if she does different things, the purpose must be love, so as to be able to make of her actions as many little flames which, uniting together, will form the great flame that will burn everything and will transform her completely into me. Otherwise, she will not possess true charity.